Um, Over the weekend or last week, there was a pretty big uptick in the new wave of conspiracy theories. There was a video in particular that I want to kind of ask you some things that I don't know if they're accurate or not. I'm going to be unbiased and just quote you what this person said, and I'd like to get your thoughts on each little bullet point if you're okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, so this person that was interviewed is somebody that we know, who has a YouTube channel, but I don't know, what he has to do with this investigation. But the first little note that I wrote was that he said Greg Kading took the investigation over for the Biggie case after right after Russell Poole died. Is that accurate or no?
Wait a minute, John. Wait a minute. I know you're not asking me no questions about snitch joke. I know. His channel don't. He was he on another person's channel or something? I don't answer to people stuff that can only get 1,000, 2,000 views on their channel, and so if those are where the questions coming from, man, I'm not doing that.
No, it's a video he did on another channel. They have like nearly like 1 million subscribers.
Oh, okay.
It actually it's getting some attention. That's why I wanted to address.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Snitch joke. Somebody must be a comedy channel or some shit, because that's all he is a fucking comedian. But oh, that's because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He say after Russell Poole died. Russell Poole died in 2015. For those of y'all don't know, Murder Rap. That whole investigative team was assembled. I think in 2007, 2008. Russell Poole that got kicked off the case by LAPD in like 2003 or 2004, if not sooner, maybe 2002, when they told Russell Poole to move on. So I don't know what he's talking about, where he gets that from. But Russell Poole, I don't even know when he retired. He probably went crazy and retired in like 2008 or something. So, or 2009. So I don't know what that guy's talking about. He doesn't know. He's a fucking confirmed rat and a clown. And so for anybody to even listen to him and take him serious is crazy. But hey, I know we need content for the week. And so if he's on a channel that got almost 1 million subs, then I'll respond to the questions. So go ahead, hit me up with it. But I haven't heard it or saw the thing, so everything you say to me will be off the top of my head, because a couple of people have sent it to me. But to say I said and listened to it, I, I swear on my kids, I ain't listened to that clown because he's a clown to me. But go ahead, John.
Okay. He says that basically when Kading took the case, that you were the number one suspect in the Big E murder, and that they went to you, and that you quote unquote spun Greg Kading's by telling him that the Southside Crips were the ones that took out Big E over money owed to them for the Tupac hit.
Well, when they came to me and was questioning me about it, that's what I believed. I honestly believed that from the time that Biggie died up until y'all done heard me say it, the time that I got a phone call from I'll say Teresa Swan, saying that they got me, Reggie, they got me. It's when I was like, whoa, Suge had you involved in that? Yeah. What? And that's the point when, yes, when I, found the other theory out to be possibly. But prior to that, yeah, I did believe it was Southside. But Greg Kadings and them came to me around the same time. They had a team following everybody around for 2 years prior to them coming to me or Teresa Swan or to arrest Keefy D and all of that. And so, yeah. So that just show you that he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's how it took place. But yeah, I thought Southside did it for the non-payment for Keefy D, is what I have always told. I did statements in the Vibe. If y'all go and pull up the Vibe article, in like 1997, 1998, where I put that out. And so that's factual. Yeah.
Okay. He then goes on to say that, so for Greg to then go and, try to get Keefe D, that they had to find him dirty. So he insinuated, at least to my understanding, that they set him up with a PCP buy through a friend of his or something, which the person being interviewed, the choke guy or whatever, tried to hint around like Keefe wasn't even a drug dealer, that they set him up so that they could like purposely catch him dirty. Do you know of that?
Well, everybody know, even by Keefe D's own admissions, what he was doing in the 90s, and then later on, in the early 2000s. But um, that's because they don't know. I wish, motherfuckers on the East Coast and New York stay in their own business. I'm not gonna sit up here and throw more dirt on top of Keefe D. The man already got enough problems, but everybody know what he was doing. Everybody know. Even if you know the history of Little Rod, Roderick Reed, he's the one that throws out the, and put him on the track of the Poochie stuff. But we'll get into that later, I'm sure. But what can I say? I mean, everybody know what Keefe D was doing back then, and he was a major supplier in the drug thing. But like I said, they arrested and went to everybody. I was the only one that wasn't doing anything dirty, and they came to me. They followed all of us around for a year or 2 years. They caught all of them dirty, except Reggie motherfucking Wright. And then that's when they came knocking on my door, uh, like cool. But all the rest of those motherfuckers was in handcuffed that day. Uh, and they were placed in the back of the police cars. So that's because he don't know. Everybody don't know, but he's talking about Dirt Rock. Dirt Rock is the guy that was caught up in a ring. Y'all go and listen to the Corey Edwards. What happened to Corey Edwards, how he got arrested and stuff. You have to go really listen to the Murder Rap investigation or the book to understand what really happened. Anybody that really knows this stuff knows that people had got arrested, and detained and all of that. It's not like how you saying he said it happened, that they came to me and then they started arresting people. It's not how it happened. But that's because y'all listening to a clown, a certified known rat who his boy on internet is telling you. Ain't no difference from Memphis ever saying anything bad about me or Great Street. But he got people that's on his case that's telling y'all what happened. But y'all want to go and listen to this clown ass, brat certified ass nigga. I told y'all remember he tried to say how he got the relationship with Suge. I talked to Suge. Nigga, I told you. If you talk to Suge, which I know is just an email, which any of y'all can do, y'all go on the website, look it up and email Suge, and you get his information. That's all he had. But why he ain't been on this channel? He admits to always taping motherfucking phone calls. As y'all see how him and Gene Deal is arguing because he admitted to taping Gene Deal phone calls and stuff. Man, if he had any phone calls with Suge, trust me, he would have leaked them by now. He would have put, because he's a fucking clout chaser. He's trying to get his little views up. He can't even get 2,000 views, and he do about 5 videos a day. A motherfucking day. But I'll dress you if you go on a big channel. But on your little channel, the bullshit you talking about, snitch joke, will never be addressed by me. So you can stop trying to clout chase me, because you just another conspirator like all the other motherfucker Michael Carlin. Gone. RJ Bond. Gone. JMX. Gone. Anybody to come. Lay Legend. Gone. Anybody that comes after Reggie Wright, gonna be gone. Straight Game TV. When the last time y'all seen that nigga upload something? He won't be uploading shit for another 10 days with his bullshit. And he still can't get over 5,000 views on his channel if he ain't talking about Reggie Wright. But I know that's your agenda. But whatever this new channel is that you got going on, that's who I'm responding to, not your bitch ass. But go ahead, John. Sorry.
No. I have a lot to go through. I wrote down a lot of notes because things stuck out to me. So, basically during the chain of events, he says that so what happened was that they got Keefe D with the PCP thing. They sat him down. And they said, "We know you killed Biggie," and he said, "No, we didn't. We had nothing to do with killing Biggie." And that Greg Kading essentially pulled down like a projector slide and said, "Well, we know you killed Tupac, and this is how you did it, and this is where people were sitting in the car, and this is exactly what happened." And this person being interviewed said, "Where else would Greg Kading know this shit happened unless Reggie Wright told him?"
Well, because he's stupid. But hey, I don't know what happened in that fucking interview room. Don't know. I wasn't there. But how does he know? He wasn't there either. But I guess he watching a show. I think that was on Unsolved when they showed that part. I saw that on Unsolved, and who knows if that's true or not. Don't know. Couldn't give a fuck. But everybody forget. Any of you motherfuckers like Brandon Moore, I wish Kenneth McLean, and all the people that really research this shit, y'all know what happened. Y'all know. Look up Roderick Reed, Little Rat, or Little Rod, or whatever that snitch nigga name is. He's the one that put him on the Poochie situation. Any of y'all that know that knows that that's who told them all that information about Poochie when him and Kevin Hackey or something were writing letters to each other or something like that. I don't even know that situation, but I know that's where they first heard about the name Poochie from. I didn't believe it. I'll tell you, I believe it was really Southside. I didn't think Suge Mindset would have been into that. Y'all got to remember, when Biggie died was March the 9th, or got shot, Suge had just got sentenced to 9 years. Either February 28th or March 1st, I forget what date it was, of that same year. I couldn't imagine, or still maybe don't believe, that Suge Mindset could have been there. He was in there fighting for his life in county jail, and then 9 days prior had just got sentenced to 9 years. Do y'all know, could understand how our lives was turned upside down when Suge got sentenced to 9 years? What people were thinking? No, y'all can't. Probably one of the worst days of my life, if you want to keep it real. Top 5. But hey, that's what happened. So that's what we believed at the time. If y'all go research it, y'all learn of a guy named Roderick Reed. He's the one that started writing letters, trying to get out of jail, trying to snitch to get out of jail, that had a relationship with Poochie. He's the one that also shot Poochie. If y'all know about the relationship with that, with him and Chin, when Chin got shot and Poochie got shot. That's where all of that comes from. Because he was an angry man sitting in prison on a PCP ring with the guy George Wills when they had got caught up. I'm not saying G did any snitching or not, because I know he did. He stayed solid. But that nigga Roderick Reed, y'all research that. No, snitch joke don't know about that because nobody talks about that. But the niggas that really know knows about that. See, y'all can't come at me with this bullshit. Reggie knows all this real behind this shit. But like I said, I can give a fuck what y'all think about what Reggie did to Biggie fucking Small. It's just when you bitch ass niggas start putting my name with Tupac, it's the only reason I talk. But I had nothing to do with either one of their deaths.
Okay, so to the best of our knowledge, then Greg Kading's got all the details on the Tupac situation from Keefe D directly. Would you agree or not?
Yes. On the Tupac situation? That's what he got. Well, no. We all believe that. Everybody, all you motherfuckers on the YouTube and internet is the only one that didn't know what that retaliation was from. Y'all the only ones that, and y'all leave these white boys on YouTube and that fucking what's that nigga Oreo Frank Alexander and that got him bullshit from that steroid using Michael Moore and all that believe that Reggie or Suge or somebody had something to do with that. But niggas in Compton, they knew what happened. Everybody that's real, that's connected in LA area, they knew it was retaliation from a beatdown that happened in the MGM. It's only stupid motherfuckers that don't believe that. Only, but any real niggas, what rapper, game member, or anybody that have y'all heard on YouTube come and push some other bullshit? It's you motherfucking stupid ass motherfuckers in the comment sections, a few of y'all, not all of y'all, and motherfucking stupid ass YouTubers are trying to get some content. But where are all these motherfuckers at now? That's Keefy D shutting his ass in jail. Where they all at? We got this new motherfucker, this stupid motherfucker from the East Coast. They just mad because they ain't smart enough to solve the shit that happened to their hero. But go ahead, John. Go at your questions.
Okay.
Don't mean to be coming off on you or just something to get pissed.
I know it pisses you off because for many years you didn't speak, and people made up a lot of different things about you and accusations. So I do understand. But so the next thing he says in the chain of events is that basically Greg Kading came back to you and said, "All right, Reggie Wright, you lied to us. Keefy D didn't have anything to do with Big," and that you went and told Greg Kading, "Oh, it was Poochie who killed Biggie," and he basically says that at that point, the Biggie case should have been tossed in the garbage because of a letter that Greg wrote, which we'll get to. First, I want to get your response to the other couple things, but then we get to the fake letter part. But what are your thoughts on him saying that, Greg basically came to you angry, saying you lied to us, Keefy had nothing to do with Biggie, and that you were the one who said, well, it wasn't Keefy, it was Poochie. So...
Where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? How do we know that? He got a relationship with Greg Kading now? Where have Greg Kading ever said that bullshit at? That's just a motherfucker on YouTube, like the rest of them, setting up, creating, making up hypotheticals. Where has that ever been said? Where? Anywhere. They didn't even say that. Once Keefy said what he had to say and Teresa Kwan said what they had to say, they knew what they were working with or what they were dealing with. Whenever they ever said that they came back and talked to me a second time. Where? So that's people just making up shit. I don't deal with hypotheticals. Don't deal with them. Y'all gotta hit me with facts. Show me. Where? Where that ever came up at?
Okay, fair enough on that. But, okay, so then he goes into, as Greg has stated, he wrote up a letter, a confession letter that was supposed to be from Poochie, saying what happened and that they showed it to Teresa Swan.
Showed it to me too. They try to present it to me too. Most people don't know that. And I laughed at them. But go ahead.
Okay, so his whole thing is like, once Greg wrote that letter up, in his opinion, the case should have been tossed in the garbage because he said, how are you going to write a fake letter of admission on a dead man? That Poochie was apparently dead at the time. And he also said that Poochie never had an Impala registered. And that if you check DMV and all this stuff, there's never any proof that Poochie ever had an Impala.
Well, like I always tell y'all, who's stupid enough to do a drive-by in their own car? I don't think Poochie was that stupid enough to do that. But my main thing is, so I don't know what car was used or who did it. I ain't never said Poochie used the car and all of that. But I guess he learned that when he got his law degree and learned what cops can do and what they can do from when he was a snitch and what people told him he can and can't do. A cop can do whatever the fuck they want to do to get an investigation, y'all. They call that a ruse. They can lie to you. They can treat you. They can tell you a nigga sitting over in the room next to you just told us, hey, Reggie Wright just said this. You better get down first. You better tell us first because Reggie just told you that. When Reggie could have been over there and he said shit. So y'all stop listening. And I only do this shit mainly because, like I said, I only care about the Tupac shit. I only respond to this shit because I'm a 57-year-old man now. And I be trying to help you young motherfuckers. Because I watch 48 Hours and all of that. And see how you motherfuckers get in there and these cops be tricking y'all to run y'all mouth. If anybody ever listen to me, ever heard me say, I'll tell y'all, when y'all go to fucking jail, what to do. Shut the fuck up until you get an attorney. And you don't have to get smart and talk crazy to the cop. You just say, hey, officer, if I was your family member, if you was in my situation, what would you do, sir? That's all you got to say to a cop. If a cop will start beating and slapping and threatening you and all of that, he's no good for you no way. Because a good cop or somebody that really just trying to get to the truth, he would just say, I can respect that. I hear you, young man. And you just ask him, your son, somebody you love, was in my position right now that you saying I'm in, what would you do? I'm asking y'all. I'm trying to teach y'all. I know all of y'all think y'all smarter than everybody else and can talk y'all way out of everything. Man, they only got to catch you in one lie, one mistake before they really believe you guilty of that crime. So shut the fuck up, y'all. Please. If y'all ever get in the box, hopefully y'all won't. Or in trouble. I don't know, y'all don't know what the box means. Do this favor. Think about Reggie Wright when Reggie tell y'all. Be quiet. You ain't got to pick an argument with a cop. You ain't got to start this. Let's say, officer, if you or somebody you love was in my situation, what would you do?
Okay. The next part he goes into was, I mean, I know where he gets it, but I'll ask it anyway. Is he says that Poochie has a full beard, and he was not seen on camera at the Peterson. Which, if you were going to commit a crime, why would you be in the vicinity of a camera? But that David Mack, Kevin Gaines, and Perez were seen at the Peterson Museum, and he basically states that Layla Steinberg was quoted as saying she saw them there, and that some other death row people, which he didn't. He just watches stuff, but he doesn't remember. It was Joe Cool who said, "Oh, I think he was there," whatever. But the crazy thing that he said is Perez was there. He was logged to be there, and that Perez had signed in to the morgue to go see Biggie's body.
I don't believe that. I don't know that. That would be a question you have to ask Rick Kading about signing in. No, Joe Cool, they never said he was there. Joe Cool wasn't there. Joe Cool said that he seen them around Death Row and all of that. Which I always tell you, if they saw anybody that looked like Rafael Perez, then that was fucking Kevin Hackey. Because those motherfuckers got the same type of hairstyle and that Puerto Rican look to me. But other than that, hey y'all, those just niggas that was getting paid, getting some money, and saying what they saw and all of that. But okay, if they were around, if they were groupies and fans or whatever, did that make them killers? I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what y'all don't understand. I could give a fuck about what happened to Biggie Small. All I just say, Reggie motherfucking Wright had nothing to do with Biggie Small. That's all I can say. But, okay, we'll leave that alone. I'm just saying. So y'all want to believe, for those of y'all want to believe, that Suge Knight or Reggie Wright or whoever had relationships with Kevin Gaines, who was fucking shit Sharitha, y'all crazy. That's white folk shit. If y'all say a motherfucker got these hit squads or these guys like that, then, hey, I'll take that. Pat myself on the back. I must be a bad motherfucker. Because Rafael Perez snitched on 70 motherfuckers. That was his cops. He got 70 cases overturned. 70 motherfucking LAPD cops indicted and in trouble. But he ain't never mentioned Reggie Wright. That nigga went and did 6-7 years in prison. But all he had to do was give up Reggie Wright and Suge Knight to not do a day in prison and to say, oh yeah, Reggie Wright and Suge, or Reggie or Suge or whoever has something to do with, they the one that hired me to do this. And this dude was giving blanket immunity deals and all that. Man, they would have been bringing that nigga steak and eggs, fucking gave him immunity and gave him reward money. If he would have just said, oh yeah, Reggie Wright and Suge Knight are the ones, they would have dropped everything on Rafael Perez to get that Biggie Small case Saul. And to get Reggie and Suge in prison. But that motherfucker, David Mack, Rafael Perez, or who, any of the other motherfuckers, ain't never ever mentioned Reggie Wright's name or Suge Knight. You want to know why? Because they didn't fucking know us. They never worked for us. Us fucking white boys on YouTube that put that bullshit in you niggas, you stupid motherfuckers' heads. Ain't nobody ever said that Reggie and them knew each other. Ain't no picture. Everybody else in pictures all over that. I didn't take pictures back then. And the YouTube done found, 5 or 6 pictures with me. And I purposely stood away from cameras back in the day because I hated Hollywood fucking bodyguards and shit. I thought that was the most disgusting thing ever. Bodyguards and stuff taking pictures with their clients and stuff. But y'all ain't never caught these niggas nowhere on cameras anywhere around? Okay. But the people that was pushing that, what did Nick Broomfield say? What did he say? He did a motherfucking article in the Rolling Stones. Everybody forget about that. In 2023, November, I got it wrong. The information I was putting out was all inaccurate. This Nick Broomfield said this. What did Biggie Small Mama say on The Breakfast Club, y'all? What did she say? 97 to 98% of what Murder Rap was reporting, she believes, she knows to be accurate. Do you know right now if you take a fucking DNA test on you, who you think is your mama, not your daddy. Well, maybe your mama might be 100%. But your daddy, that is your daddy, it's only going to come back to 98 to 99% that he's your daddy. But this is what a lady that has nothing but love for her son is saying. But y'all want to listen to motherfuckers on YouTube that was probably, I don't know where that broke nigga was at that time. That now he done popped up and figured out a way to make some money on YouTube and pushing that bullshit. Y'all go ahead. Y'all keep listening to that motherfucker. Y'all keep listening to motherfuckers like that. But this is the last time I'm going to address this motherfucker. Unless he go on Vlad or Art's channel or something like that and get major views. But on his little bullshit ass channel, y'all not getting no more responses from Reggie Wright.
Okay, so the next thing he says is that you were always with Suge and that coincidentally you were not with Suge at the MGM fight and that you told security not to carry guns.
Okay. Well, we played some audio recently that showed y'all. It wasn't Reggie that told y'all. But yeah, Reggie was there and Reggie didn't object to it, so I guess I'm ultimately responsible. But it was the attorney that suggested that, George Calise. And he explained why. And Frank Alexander on a YouTube channel that he did an interview with said it was George Calise that told him that. Not Reggie Wright. But I'll take it because I'm ultimately responsible. So that's just going to show y'all how information travel, get third hand, and then it gets brought back in correctly. But being with Suge, Reggie was always with Suge, yeah, generally, because we very, very rarely had 2 events going on, meaning a club. Everybody forget that Club 662 was a Suge Knight entity. That was something that was owned by Suge Knight. You know, we'll say Ed Death Row, but it was mainly owned by Suge Knight. Reggie looks out for Suge Knight's stuff. The fight thing was, man, y'all just don't know how chaotic it was. I saw an interview recently where somebody else said how they didn't even try to go to the fight because Suge was always promising everybody tickets to the fight. And then once you get there, he'd be shaking you. He'd be hiding and running from you because he ain't never had that many tickets. to go to the fight. But yeah, Reggie would have been number 4 on the list. Suge, Pac, and Snoop, and then Reggie. Or David Kenner or something like that. I would have been in one of those that could have had a ticket. But I wasn't caring about going to the fight because he had enough people with him. He had Buntry, Neck, Trey, all of those dudes, Rick James. He had all of those dudes with him and all of that. Reggie got other responsibilities going on. He had the club he was worried about and that being on point for when all of those artists and all those people come there and make sure it's on point. So that was my responsibility or my worry at the time. It wasn't going out hanging at a fight and all of that. If you want to keep it real, nobody would have expected what happened at that fight that went down at the MGM. Especially not driving back, but the neglect. It has always been. I know y'all got that gap tooth motherfucker and all of them out there talking about Suge called and asked me for 5 guards and all that. Suge's a motherfucking lie if he called and even told me anything went down at the MGM. He's a motherfucking liar. And ain't nobody called me. I wish they would have, but I'm glad they didn't. Because you know why? Because I would have been like, okay, we'll talk about it when y'all get to the club. Would have never, ever thought that bullshit that happened would have went down that particular day that soon. Nobody retaliates that quick. Y'all ain't never heard of any gang thing that retaliated within hours of a beatdown. Very, very rarely happens, especially in Vegas by some out-of-towners. But it happened. But we would have never expected it to happen. And I know if they would have told me that would happen, I wouldn't have went and took 5 or 6 guys from the club where I know everybody going to come that need to be on point and go and run around and secure them. When you got 10 gang members, you know, all those guys that we all talk about that's so tough and all of that, you know, all the Mob and Power Rules and Big Psych was there or Edie was there. No disrespect to any of them. Just saying, the shit would have happened. Would have happened. If Fatal was there, okay. So now Neckbone, Buntry, and Trey, and K-Dub, and all of them are busters now. Man, they got caught with their pants down. Y'all got to get that through your head. It happens. I know y'all don't want to believe that. I forgot Superman, Tupac, nothing would have, you know, ain't supposed to happen to him. He's a man, he bleed, put his pants on, just like you motherfuckers bleed and put your pants on. Y'all got to get that Superman mentality about Pac out of y'all head. Shit happens. Just like Rick Ross got punched in the mouth. Shit happens. Where we fucked up and looked soft at is because we didn't retaliate immediately. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about the team, the Death Row. Because after that shit happened, niggas should have been, which Buntry did do, and whoever was with him that night, they went and they fired shots. I know y'all got Snitch Rue over there saying that he don't know nothing about it. That's because Snitch Rue and his brother didn't fuck with each other like that. I know. I seen the gunshot and the bullet hole in the car. So those niggas got in the shit. I know of the windshield in the van that from retaliation from the shooting where it went back and forth in the windshield of a van that got shot up. Y'all gonna learn about all of that in the trial if it goes to trial. But these broke motherfuckers on YouTube, they don't know all of this because they don't know it haven't came out yet. So they can go put their spin on it. But yeah, go on to the next question, John.
Okay. Next, he went into the Lakewood Mall incident and basically said that you were the one that started the rumor that the fight was over a chain, and that if you ask Suge or if you ask anybody, there was never any bounty on death row chains, and that K-Dub also stated that the fight at the Lakewood Mall had nothing to do with chains.
Okay. All right. I'm not even going to debate that one. Everybody know what happened at the Lakewood Mall. Even Keefy D talked about what happened at the Lakewood Mall. I guess Keefy D just my boy. I guess Keefy D just over there sitting in there stressing, doing time, down there crying, about to have a motherfucking baby in prison because he's so fucking loyal to Reggie Wright. All these people that so fucking loyal to Reggie Wright, Rafael Perez doing time because he don't want to snitch on Reggie Wright. Keefy D about to do life in prison because he don't want to snitch on Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright's a bad motherfucker, but all you motherfuckers keep tapping at him like he ain't. Wish y'all make up your mind. Wish y'all make up your motherfucking mind.
Okay, the next thing he says is, and this is the one that struck me weird, is that, so he stated that the fight at the Lakewood Mall wasn't over chains. In his opinion, he says that Trayvon Lane and Orlando Anderson were both from Long Beach and that they were Crips, and that Trayvon switched to being Mob or something, and that's why he got the Lane in his name. So Baby Lane is Baby Lane and Trayvon Lane is Trayvon Lane, and that when they saw each other, it was over set tripping.
Well, Baby Lane, last name is Anderson, y'all. His last name is Anderson. He got the Baby Lane, I don't know, one of his homeboys, somebody in his neighborhood gave it to him. You know where Trayvon Lane get his last name from? Well, there's a story, a myth that goes on that we get our last names from our slave owners. People that used to own our relatives and stuff like that. So I guess somewhere in the line of Trayvon's family history, somebody that last name was Lane used to own him. Because Trayvon Lane gets his last name from his daddy, not from no street shit. So that just show y'all, the motherfucker y'all listening to, how much of an idiot he is. Now, Trayvon Lane did grow up did some time in Long Beach and all of that. I used to make fun and say that nigga used to be a Crip, a Long Beach Crip for people that don't know when he was young, 12 or 13 years old. But Trayvon Lane has always, ever since I've been knowing the Reynolds family, and I've been knowing the Reynolds family since 1972, been going over there to his grandpa's house and aunties in their house swimming in the pool since I've known him. Because I used to be over there. I used to be over to Reynolds' house at least 6 times a year swimming, if not more. And so I know Trayvon has been over there. He's a lot younger, and y'all know he's 4 to 5 years younger than me. When you're 7 and 2 or 9 and 4, those are big age difference when you're that young. Now, when you're 50 and 44, then it don't seem as bad, right? So we didn't hang out like that at that age because we were young. I was probably 12 and Trayvon was probably 8, but he hung out with my sister. And him and my sister had a great relationship. And so I always knew Trey. And plus, y'all got to remember who I was in Compton. I was a cop and a jailer in Compton since 1984, 85. And so and my dad was Reggie, who y'all know how people speak of Reggie, in the city of Compton. So we had a great respect and relationships with pretty much everybody, especially in the area we grew up with. Somehow we knew each other. And then my family come from the projects, Imperial Courts housing projects, where most people from Compton came from one of those projects, either the Nickerson Gardens, the Imperial Courts, or the Jordan Downs. And so that's why everybody kind of know each other in the city of Compton and all of that. Because of our parents and their history, going to L.A. Jordan or Compton High School and stuff like that. So I don't know where he gets that from. I don't know why he want to put... That's just because I hate the guys like that. It bothers me that y'all allow people like that to insert themselves in the situations they don't know about. Y'all don't hear me go over there talking about Mano and anybody in New York and stuff like that. The only reason I talk about Biggie is when y'all bring my name up about Biggie and stuff like that. I don't talk about Jay-Z and Rockefeller or the Ja Rule disc and all of that. When 50 Cent dissed Ja Rule on the stage at the concert, right in his face, while Ja Rule on the stage, I don't get in all of that because I don't know about it. I don't know the history behind it. And that's how these dudes, when they come inserting themselves in the Tupac situation and the LA and situation, that's how it comes off to me, y'all. And so that's why I get so mad and make it a coastal thing. But I got just as much love for people that's on YouTube from New York and the East Coast as I do for people on the West Coast. But that's why I talk how I do, because it's disappointing for a guy from Compton, California, to go and be talking about Utah business. That's how I look at it. Or Iowa business. I don't know it. Don't know it. Only thing I can tell y'all about is some Iowa Hawkeyes or whatever they fucking call the football team. And that Iowa State beat them this year. That's all I can tell you about Iowa and Iowa State. And that's how it comes off to me when the guys from New York is talking about Compton business.
Okay. The next point that he tries to bring up and claim that it's a fact is that after Orlando and Tupac fought in the MGM Grand, that you pulled Michael Moore off of Tupac and brought him to Club 662.
Yeah. Well, that's because he's an idiot and he don't know. Well, even if he go and research it and really listen, y'all know it already. Michael was pulled off. He say, Al Giddens kept calling him and making sure he's at the room and all of that, and then go, to the fight and all of that. It was because Kevin Hackey was supposed to have been there. Nobody knew that Hackey didn't show up or wasn't coming. Everybody was just coming into town that particular day. To be honest, they didn't really have to be there until 6 o'clock, meeting the bodyguards and stuff like that, meeting Kevin Hackey. And so no one called and informed me, but that was mainly because Pac and got mad and left and rolled over there with him and Frank together in a taxi cab because he was mad that Suge and them came to the fight late and was going to the fight late. And so y'all don't even know that history, but the ones that really knows this. But Michael Moore was not scheduled. His schedule was to be working at the club. I like Michael at the front door, because Michael was a no-nonsense type guy. Didn't have to hear about all of that. Everybody trying to get in free. I don't know. That's what happens at a club like that. Everybody was showing up to the club. I know Suge. I used to have to keep Suge away from the door. Because when he go to the door, everybody be trying to, Suge, let me in. I don't know. $75 was a lot of money back then to be coming out. When Suge had a way of making everybody think they was his best friend. And so everybody thought they should have been getting in free. That's why James always say he was security and all that. No, James was just out there. I used to my security hated James. Man, that dude's up there, going up there, bringing people up there. I was like, let James make his money. Let him make his money. Let him get his money. Let James go and do whatever. As long as they paying to get in. That's all he cared about. And Michael was good with that. And that's why I had Michael scheduled to work at the door and to be at Club 662. And plus I needed the numbers. People forget. When you have a nightclub, everybody has a station. I didn't need people hanging out at the fight and riding around. They had enough of those people with them. My thing was making sure that club was on point for when they got there and safe. That's where I got my grade at for the day. Not for hanging out, going to the fight and sitting in the fight and all of that. Now, like I said, it's unfortunate what happened, but who would ever thought? Who would ever thought that would happen there? Who would ever thought Tupac would have read up and put his hands on somebody like that, being on parole, being out on bail? Man, y'all, that's who fucked up, y'all. That's who fucked up everything, y'all. We can blame it, sit back and blame everything on everybody. But Tupac Shakur, y'all, should not have ran and put his hands on anyone that didn't put their hands on him. And that's what y'all just gotta sit and realize. Now, I'm not saying Keefe D and them should have retaliated the way they did. Hell no. But who would ever thought that would happen that night?
Okay. The next thing that he states, and we all know that part of this happened, was that when Tupac and Suge were heading to the club, that they got pulled over by some bicycle cops for their music being loud. But this choke guy says that the cops searched Suge's car when they pulled him over to ensure that he had no guns on him.
They didn't even go in the car. All they did was they was on bicycles. They pulled him over for loud music, and Suge didn't have plates on the car. The car had 700 miles on it, and 350 of that miles came from driving to Vegas and probably driving around there. So that's probably another 450 miles on it, on the car. Suge had always like that. Suge customized. Before Suge got in his cars, after he drove them for a day or two, he would send them straight to the shop to get nice sounds in his car and to get and the amplifiers and to get them put on rims. That was Suge M.O. He wouldn't drive no car around on stock rims or nothing. Okay. But Suge also has another thing that he didn't like to do. And most people don't back then, still to this day. What you don't like to do? What is the one thing people hate doing when they get a new car? And always the time when you have to decide to do. When to put the motherfucking license plates on the car. And so the cop asked him, where your plates at? Where the plates? All Suge did was got out of the car, opened his trunk, and showed them the license plates. Cop didn't issue him no tickets, didn't do anything. Sent them on, told them turn the music down, and send them by their happy way. That happened about a mile and a half away from where they eventually laid and got shot. Do y'all know how long it takes to move a mile? So y'all have no idea. I wish I did and go. Maybe the next time they have I don't even know if Super Bowl can show the amount of traffic that was done in Vegas during that time. The only thing I ever seen that on a Mike Tyson fight night that had that type of traffic was All-Star Weekend. And I know a lot of y'all can relate to that. But for you old heads that had money that went to All-Star Weekend, y'all know how hard it was to move up and down Vegas Strip on All-Star Weekend? Well, that's how it was in 1996 in Vegas, when the traffic lights and all of that wasn't even as good as they are now. You know what I'm saying? With the automatic lights and all that. We didn't have all this technology that y'all had. It took probably 30 minutes to move that mile and a half on the Vegas Strip. So y'all got to say, well, why they didn't go the back way? Why they took that route? Well, y'all got to understand, Suge and Pac and all them was all about flash. That was the image. They were being flashy and, showing off, pulling people, pulling that trail van that they had behind them. If there wasn't at least 10 or 15 cars trailing them when that shit happened to Pac, I'll be surprised. Why do y'all think those 10 or 15 cars were following them to the club? Well, I told y'all earlier how much it costs to get in the club. And so the goal was to try to get in with Suge, to walk in with that entourage so you can get in the club for free. You didn't have to wait in that long-ass line that was down the block trying to get in the club. So my point is, y'all, my only point is, he wanted to make it like a setup with cops and all of that. Nobody could have figured out. If it was anybody was going to do a hit, they would have did like Keefe D and them said that they would have did. Wait until those niggas pulled up in the parking lot. There wasn't nobody thinking about doing no hit there. Those niggas got lucky. It was just Tupac's time to go, y'all. They got lucky.
Okay. Please bear with me on this next one because it's the last question, but there's a bit of a build up to it. So I'll try to condense it as much as I can. But basically, what he said was that K-Dub blocked them in. and that Suge always said that that was Reggie's boy, which I don't know why he always said that, but he said it one time. But anyhow, he said after the shooting happened, his whole thing was that, you know, when Gene Deal said that somebody walked up on the car, that you were able to say, like, you're a liar, Gene, no one's ever been out of the car. So his big thing was that K-Dub stated that after the shooting happened, he got out of the car, went up to the BMW. This is at Flamingo and Koval, and said, Tupac, Suge, are you okay? And that Suge was just frozen.
You know, I never heard that segment. I heard when Shook said that Reg Boy K Dub, which y'all know, y'all hear the story. Y'all just go back and listen to what Jewel said about K Dub and Suge back in the day. Anybody that's around know K Dub and Suge were tight as thieves back in the beginning. And Kevin, you know, I know a lot of Kevin Woods catch a lot. K Dub, I'm sorry for saying you in the government name, but could they catch a lot of heat because he and Snoop are close now? But that's K Dub. K Dub is one of those dudes y'all see at the like that this video. K Dub is always around. He just has that type of mannerism. But he mainly around Snoop and them and Death Row and always wearing Death Row merchandise and stuff like that because he has a relationship and he's making some money working with John Payne, the guy that was for the last 10 or 15 years, if not longer, that was kind of running or having a lot of say-so with E1 at, with Death Row stuff because he was the engineer that was hired to secure all the music and knew where everything was at. And so I think even Snoop, now that he has this relationship, even hired John Payne. And K-Dub and John Payne are real tight. So that's where that relationship come to make Snoop and plus K-Dub is just always cool. K-Dub is the type of nigga that gets along with everybody. And so shout out to K-Dub. But K-Dub it has been rumored. I have heard Suge say that before. So I'm not going to say Suge lying or anything. Where he said, yeah, goddamn K-Dub and his little 190, because he had a new Mercedes, was one of those little 190 E's or C's of Mercedes. And I think Trayvon was in the front seat with him at the time, as I remember. But he said, yeah, I would have been able, and that's this Suge, always got an excuse for things. He said, I would have shot through the intersection when I seen the car pull up alongside of us, but I couldn't because K-Dub was in front of me at the light. So Suge have said that, but Suge know. Suge knows, and anybody from Compton knows. K-Dub ain't had nothing to do with blocking in Suge and setting up Suge to be to be shot by Reggie and his LAPD cop friends. So it was just bad timing. It's just what happened, and that's all that happened. But for that clown to be trying to say that. Now, the part of them saying getting out of Koval and Suge looking frozen and all that, I have never heard that. I have always heard Suge always said the reason that he did a U-turn and didn't go towards the hospital or whatever was because he was trying to get back to the area where the cops had just pulled him over at because he was just trying to get back to the strip and get back to that area so he can get some medical attention for himself, who was bleeding from the head, and for Pop, so he was just trying to get back to safety. Some people would say, well, he should have been trying to get to the hospital. Well, yeah, and Suge probably knew where the hospital was because, Suge had been out there in that community for about 3 or 4 years playing football. And so he knew Vegas very well. But, hey, I ain't never been shot before. I ain't never seen somebody sitting in the car bleeding from me that I love and have a relationship with and all of that, and myself bleeding from my head and just been shot at. So I don't know what the fuck I would have did. So I don't blame Suge for that, for whatever people for those of y'all say, Suge should have been trying to get straight to the hospital or did this or did that, or for him to try to insinuate like Suge froze up or anything like that. I honestly believe, like I said, he's researching and getting this from when they was talking about when the police, they got pulled over and they finally, the car finally went flat or whatever, is that when Suge has always said they had a hard time getting the door open and he had to go over there and pull the door open because they didn't know how to open the door. But that's because I heard it was always jammed or something like that. But hey, I don't know where the guy going, what he's trying to insinuate, but I can vouch and I know for a fact K-Dub ain't had nothing to do with no setup or working with no Crips or nothing to try to, or no police or Reggie or Sharita or whoever y'all want to say to box Suge in is what he's trying to insinuate. And it's unfortunate that a fool is out there rehashing all of this bullshit that's been debunked. But hey, I guess the DA is putting his reputation on the line. I guess this deputy DA is putting his reputation on the line. And I guess Keefe D is sitting there being a pawn for everybody because stupid motherfuckers on YouTube that probably ain't got $1,000 in his bank account right now that's sitting up here sprunging out bullshit on YouTube and all of that, and people want to listen to because all of the educated people and all these people that have all the evidence just don't know, and everybody is so scared of Reggie Wright or Suge or Rafael Perez or whoever else. Will be my take. Hey, but I guess it ain't no story if you can't make up shit. Don't sound good for facts. But hey, Biggie Small Mama say what she believe. I know stupid ass Billy Gordon probably have a different view of self, but I bet you Seth believes. I bet you when all this said and done, and Keefe gets sentenced, Seth go and make her statement, and I bet you everybody will be saying, Pac finally got his justice. And then where are all you motherfuckers going to be? Or y'all going to give all the little hundreds of dollars y'all made off of YouTube back for pushing all this bullshit? All the documentaries that was done that people made off of this bullshit? Are they going to give the money back? Or are they going to be held accountable? Unfortunately not. It's just bringing people names and reputations to some bullshit. It's unfortunate, but I'm going to end it there.